Is it true you had boozy parties in Saddam Hussein's villa?
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you ever have a drink with Saddam Hussein?
No, but we did his prostitutes.
Before we dive in, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. So Ollie, was your new venture with the Australian TV company, was that a two fingers to Channel 4?
It was it wasn't that wasn't the motivation, but yeah.
It was blowing them a kiss.
Yeah, it was a kiss, yeah.
Would you say your military training has transferred into your current ventures?
Some aspects of it, not all. So
what has and what hasn't?
Process. Process is so important. Process beats paralysis. Right. So process is so important. Everything we want to achieve. A, B, C, how do we get there, regardless of what's going on in here?
Love it. Is there anything else you've done that compares to the stress of being a soldier other than a chimp attack?
Yeah, getting married in Vegas. I'm realising that...
Your wife is around, you do know that.
Yeah, no, it's in the book. It's in the book. Yeah. Anything that's in the book is
Which
fair
book
play.
is it in?
It's in Breakpoint.
Okay, Breakpoint.
Yeah, so...
Breakpoint for the full story.
Yeah, being in Vegas and then realising it was a big mistake just before you're about to get married was quite stressful.
Wow. Yeah. Is it true you had boozy parties in Saddam Hussein's villa?
Absolutely, yeah. Massive parties. Wow.
Yeah. Did you ever have a drink with Saddam Hussein?
No, but we did his prostitutes.
That's a million view video right there. Thanks, it's been worth the trip.
That's in the book.
Yeah. You can go a bit longer on this if you want. Yeah. What do you think about the recent exit from Afghanistan?
The recent exit from Afghanistan, I think, is shocking, to say the least. You know, I was working last week with someone. I was out on the water, kayaking, racing kayaks, and a guy turned up, and they said, "Oh, John's coming, ex-Royal Marine. He's only got one limb." And I'm like, "Oh, what? He's canoeing?" And they went, "Yeah." And this guy was out there on the water, bionic arm, thrashing everyone. So you know what? And then straight after that happened, I thought straight at that guy, and I thought, I know loads of people like that, and I'm so annoyed that people have gone over there and lost a lot more than limbs, their lives, they come back here with serious trauma, and they're the people I feel for big time. But on that, I just know the way the world works. I just wonder what's going on behind the scenes. Everything out there that's fed to us is intended to be a distraction.
What do you think is going on behind the scenes?
I don't know, but I'm always looking beyond. Whenever something big like this happens, I'm always looking in my peripheral to see what else is going on.
And if you were to guess, what's the bigger picture?
Are they opening the door for China? Maybe, I don't know. Afghanistan's got the biggest lithium deposits in the whole world. Lithium's quite popular at the moment. So, I just feel the way it was done, you look at the whole thing. I mean, you've only got to see the videos. It's like they were told to leave in 30 minutes. Yeah. Cash left, weapons left. I mean, you just go in, you put dems on everything, blow the whole lot and then leave. At least. Yeah. At least. But to leave before, the military's the last thing that leaves. And I just for comfort, on a global scale, that's, as far as I can see, has humiliated the whole effort, humiliated the US. And I think it's just a real shocking state of affairs.
What would you say the general relationship with money is in the military?
Relationship with money, I mean, talking from my own experiences, it's just ridiculous. Half of my career was thinking how I could earn some more money to live, which, financially wise, I mean, I never joined because of the financials, clearly. But, financially, it's just ridiculous. When I actually tell people what we used to get paid as Special Forces soldiers, it was, ridiculous. But again, if you want to join, if your focus and your passion and your motivation is financial, the military is not for you. Yeah. Is that where you were steering with that? Or?
Yeah, we have a lot of, well, I wasn't steering in any way, so I want you to answer the question, but we do have a lot of ex-forces that come and do our courses for property and business. Yeah. There's a certain amount of indoctrination about how you develop your career and then your retirement beyond that. and you have to help them unlearn a lot of the things they've learned to invest and to replace the pension with property.
Yeah. I think I mean, look, always going back to source again. You know, I think what education are you given at school about finances, about investment, about running? You know,
None.
And and there's a mix of people. I mean, people end up learning from their parents, don't they?
Yeah.
Essentially about their finances, and a lot of people. If you can manage your money in the military and manage it well, then you can pretty much manage anything.
Yeah.
But for me, my finances were my main focus. You know, I couldn't actually enjoy my job because my and a lot of it I created myself. I just didn't earn enough money.
Yeah.
So, I was living in severe lack for all of my military career.
What does someone fairly high up the military get paid? Not right at the top, but fairly high.
Well, I mean, if you're talking, I mean, it's a long time since I've been in, but I mean, I can imagine 30,000.
I mean, 30 grand.
Yeah.
To put my 2 kids through senior private school will be about gross, if you factor in before tax, 150 grand. Yeah. You know, when you roll it all in. Yeah. And so it's not enough.
I'm probably going shallow there, but the thing is,
even if it's
probably
50
not,
grand.
even if it's 50 grand, yeah. I mean, but generally, I'd say let's go middle road there, 40 grand. I mean, but the thing is that the military work, they always go on the premise about, well, you don't have to pay for accommodation. Well, you do have to pay for accommodation, but it's very low living costs, etc. That's what they work on. It's the best pension in the world. All these
property's the best pension in
exactly.
the world. That's not
exactly. No, I totally agree. But that's what they sell to the young, the young recruits going in there. It's a guaranteed wage. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other. But for me, I mean, I tell you what, my time in the military, it was just I was so confined. And that was the whole thing for me. People think, oh, it's a dream job. It's this. I'm the first person to say it. For me, it wasn't a dream job. I was driven by image. Right. The image was being the Special Forces soldier because that would look good. You know what I mean? That's what we do, don't we, as humans? We do it because it's going to look good for everyone else looking on.
Yeah.
And really, when I got there, I realised that wasn't my purpose at all.
Well, that question you asked, I'm going to ask that. I love learning from people and I love getting little bits. I'm going to regularly ask myself, if no one else existed on the planet, what decision would I make? Because I think that is a really powerful question. I'd still buy £1,000 Louboutin shoes, I would, but at least it would be for me and not for impressing other people.
Yeah.
But such a good question.
Yeah, I think it is, and even in the moment, when you're making very big decisions, what would I do if there was no one else on this planet right now?
What do you do to get motivated?
I stay focused, I stay energized, and I keep moving every day. Exercise and health for me is one of my biggest, one of my main focuses. And I think for me, when people brush that kind of stuff aside, I think that's absolutely crazy. So really, for me, it's all about health and fitness, and that is keeping moving. I want to make sure, especially as you get older as well, people tend to end up getting, ill health, bad problems just through bad management.
One of my friends says, movement is medicine.
Absolutely. And people don't understand as well is your food is your mood. You know what I mean? It's what you eat that creates what's up here. So if you're going down and smashing, it's like putting diesel in a Porsche, It's not going to work. People are more invested in putting good fuel in the car than they are in their own bodies.
That's another one for TikTok. I love it. Okay. What's your favourite movie about the SAS? It's a shit question, but we put it in anyway.
I don't know any.
No?
None spring to mind.
There you go.
I'll tell you what. No, let's go back to that because Lewis Collins, the Iranian embassy, because I love how absolute bullshit it is. As in some of the skills and that, it just makes me laugh. Yeah. So that for me is my favourite thing about the military. Again, for me, I mean, people think because I've been in the military at the top of my game that I'm this kind of mental, you know, I've got all camouflage, you know, little suits and everything. And, you know, I'm not interested in the military, to be quite honest. It's something I did a long time back. And, you know, I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah, fair enough. That's all good. Do you have a 30-second or less trick people can practice to increase their mental strength?
Oh, that's a very good question. If you're worried about a situation, then write everything down you're worried about. Then cross out the things you can't control and deal with the things you can.
You are like, you're getting a TikTok erection here, aren't you, with all of this? Rob's our TikTok guy. It's so good. What's the second scariest thing that's ever happened to you?
You know what? The second scariest thing is I've had 2 events in my life that were outside of the military, outside of the special forces. And the second event that was the scariest is as a civilian being attacked by the militia, heavily outnumbered, at 140 kilometers an hour on the road to Baghdad. It was hideous and something that I would not want to go through again.
What happened?
Well, we were escorting a load of VIPs back from Jordan, and on the road on the way back, our convoy got attacked. So we had vehicles coming up the back. I was sat in the front seat with an MP5 Kurtz little machine gun, body armour on, shirt over the top. They had no idea who we were. And it was when the vehicle was sat behind us, right on the bumper, that then the AK-47s came out and bullets started flying. And four AK-47s firing at the same time when you're on the wrong end is a crescendo from hell. And it was dealing with that situation in that moment, which happened in seconds. So I pulled the vehicle into the next lane.
Oh, you were driving?
I was driving, yeah. Allowed them to come up. We had the central reservation on that side. We had another one of our vehicles in front. And then I'd pulled my vehicle out here. We trapped them, we boxed them in, they fell for the trap. And it was in that moment that I picked up the MP5 Kurtz and shot through my closed window at 140 k's an hour into the vehicle, just as he was bringing his AK-47 onto my head. Shit. And it was all that, and it happening so fast.
You took them all out then?
Well, I mean, you know, I always say this, everyone says to ex-special forces, how many people have you killed? Yeah. If I probably told anyone that number, they'd be disappointed. And I don't know if we killed them that day or no, we got shots on target, whether they died or not. Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to think they didn't die. Yeah. But, you know, it certainly resolved that situation in that moment. But, you know, it was another interesting moment for me because it was that moment when you triage the situation, you know, and that is, in that moment, we start fearing about all things we can't control, triage it. What really mattered in that moment? Him point a gun at me, deal with that. Yeah. And the rest flowed then.
Wow. I got goosebumps then. Yeah. And I don't know if it's the cost of coffee or the story. It's probably a bit of both.
We whacked the pre-workout in the
What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you?
The weirdest thing was when we attacked a boat. Well, if we're talking, I'll tell you what, let's go on the military. And it was one of my first jobs in the SBS. And we did a lot of sort of counter-narcotics work. And it was an awesome job, out at night, on a helicopter, hitting this ship out at sea, rough seas, the ship's like going mental, you know, on the waves, and we're having to come down this fast rope onto, you know, you're not attached on a fast rope, it's just a rope and you control it so you've got all your weapons, everything hanging off you, your stun grenade, you know, your flash crash grenades and all that kind of stuff. And the ship's doing this and I'm having to time it so that you hit it on the pendulum, you know, and you know, with the grip of your hand. Anyway, got onto the ship. And it was hilarious because as you're coming into target, you put down your balaclava, okay, and you get finally ready, make sure everything's good to go on your 2 minutes in, and that's done all in the dark. So then you hit the ship, got on board. We went straight to our objective, bust open the door, and it hit us, bang, hit us. The smell of ganja.
Really?
And the smell was just like, it'd been locked up in this, you know, we didn't know it was in there. We thought there was enemy in there. So we went straight through and it was the hole where they were keeping all the drugs. Yeah. Bang, hit us straight away. And we got in there, we're trying to crawl, there's another door on the other side. So we're crawling over these massive blocks of ganja, all in black. We're all in black. And then suddenly one of the lads starts laughing. And like, but then the sergeant, our sergeant, he'd come down and he'd probably heard us laughing. He was coming through as well, and he's like that. He'd come through into the same room, and he's like, right lads, stop being fucking professional. And we turned around and looked at him. He put his balaclava on and obviously didn't wear it. His nose was sticking through the eyepiece. He had one eye half visible, and we were just fucking in bits, just like... And we had to really pull ourselves together to take that ship down that day. That was probably one of the weirdest.
Piers Morgan called you a kale-munching quinoa guzzler after discovering you were vegan. Did you respond to that? Did you even know that?
I did know that. I didn't respond, but I was very, very... I was on the edge of going into attack mode there.
And why didn't you?
Because I think it takes a bigger man to walk away from stuff like that. And I wasn't vegan at the time anyway. So.
Yeah.
But, you know, for a person that's been responsible for the stuff that he's been responsible for, you know, releasing pictures and all that kind of stuff for lads, soldiers overseas, I'm definitely the better man.
Yeah.
Than that.
Do you think he was riling you up on purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely riling me up. Or was it even him? So.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the best advice you ever received?
The best advice I ever received was stop doing things for other people, as in stop trying to create the person you are to please everyone else.
I'm looking at all the cameras. That is the best advice. There's a book I read called The Courage to be Disliked, which is...
Yeah, I've seen that recently. Yeah.
And it covers Adlerian psychology and various things, but the theory is that ultimate freedom is having the courage to be disliked, therefore not living your life based on what you think other people think of you.
Yeah.
And I would definitely put that up there.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back into that, you know, ayahuasca journey. You know, I just saw that person. When I saw it in that vision, it was this almost like we're putting the clothes on this mannequin, you know, we're building this fucking picture of perfection. Stop faking perfection.
Yeah.
You know, you're only fooling yourself.
Yeah. It's funny, I'm going to express something that I felt, because obviously we've got to know each other, and you showed me that awesome military vehicle that you've just bought, and I had this overwhelming sensation to show you all the cars I have, which would have been my ego manifesting.
Yeah.
Actually, not ego as in brag, ego as in I hope Ollie values me. I hope Ollie thinks I'm good enough, legitimate guy to come and spend time with him. Does he know what I've built and who I am?
Yeah.
He probably doesn't. And then I just thought, no, I don't need to show him that.
Yeah.
I am me. And I went and did some chin-ups on your bar.
Can I see him?
Yeah, yeah, you could see the cars.
But that's the thing, you know what? That is the thing, though. It's like a lot of it. Some people think when I start telling them about the cars, they think, "Oh, you're trying to get one up now, aren't you?" And
no, I didn't think that.
Yeah, but you're not, and I'm not. And I'm like, no, I'm just showing you. Because in some respects, I think it's quite ridiculous that I've got, you know, a lot of motorbikes, but I don't look at it as if, and that's where you ask yourself that question. You know, you ask yourself the question, would I be doing this if I was the only person on the planet?
You probably still would buy that if you're the only person.
Yeah, no, I would. I mean, a lot of them are ready for Armageddon anyway, so we're already, you know what I mean? But everything I've got out there is designed for purpose, not for Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, it's and that's how your mindset should be, shouldn't it? You know,
designed for purpose, not for Instagram. That's another one. Yeah? Yeah. Your pants are moving. Look at that. Great. What's the worst advice you ever received?
The worst advice I ever received: do as you're told. Do as you're told is probably the worst advice I've ever received. Because I don't believe anyone should do as they're told. You know, you have to analyse the situation. If it makes sense to you, then do it. But always doing things on your own terms, not someone else's.
I really like that. Is there one thing that's wrong with the world that you'd like to change?
Yeah, there is one thing in the world I'd love to change, and that is the pandemic. The real pandemic. That's greed. You know, greed is the real problem that's out there. And if we controlled that, I think problems would disappear overnight.
How do we control greed?
Where do we start? Because everything's been engineered about creating wealth. This is another point I actually wanted to talk to you about, because there's two sides to this. I'm a big believer in the fact that people should try and create something that means something to them. And then a lot of the times that doesn't necessarily mean wealth. There's so much information out there on Instagram, on social media about, millionaire mentor or whatever it is. Here's me in a Rolls, which they probably hired for the day. Here's me, some Russian chick inside a jet. I'm just on my way. It's not, they've paid to go and have that picture taken. And I think it's unhealthy. Happy. I know this is cliche. Happiness, it's money doesn't make you happy. Money does one thing for me, and that is creates freedom. It creates experience. You know what I mean? But I just think a lot of people are chasing the dollar when they should be investing in themselves first. You know what I mean? And they put the dollar in front of themselves. And that all comes down to greed. Everything's about money, 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 money. I just think that is the biggest pandemic in the world.
We should put that clip on the Money podcast that we have. Right after where I say money does make you happy.
But money does make you happy if you've, I talk about control and stuff here. I tell you what, I left the military with no money whatsoever. I hadn't any money, I was scrabbling around, trying to make some more money outside of work and everything, just to pay for my social life. And it was ridiculous. And then I came out, one of the main reasons that I came out was because of money. It was all money. And then I came out, then I went over to Iraq, where I was earning massive, for me at that time, 2003, £13,000 a month tax-free. I mean, even today, that is a great amount of money to be earning. For me, that was massive. I was still poor. I was still poor because this was
Because you don't know how to manage it.
Yeah, I didn't know how to manage it. And also, I still had the mindset of lack. And my motivation was money. I was doing a job that was money-focused, money, 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 and it wasn't a passion for doing the job. My world changed when I started a business that was focused on a mission statement of helping other people, and the money became a byproduct. Doesn't stop the money from flowing.
You probably make more.
Yeah, well, it just means you're not money's bitch. It's the other way around. It's a tool for you.
If there was one person you'd love to watch, listen to on the Disruptive Entrepreneur Show, we're on all channels now. We used to be just podcast, and we actually hadn't had the YouTube that long when we came to meet you last time. Who would one person you'd love to watch?
I'd love to watch, and I have followed him through my tough times and my good times, and that's Bob Proctor. I just think he is the godfather, as far as I'm concerned, of personal development. What I love about Bob Proctor is the fact that he's not trying to state that he's invented this stuff. He's quite happy and quite comfortable stating he is reframing it. He's keeping that content alive. And I just think, he picks up, and people don't understand how much frequency is involved in our evolution, and our well-being and everything. And he is one person that is on it when it comes to frequency, vibration, everything. So Bob Proctor.
Okay, cool. We can definitely make that happen. I know we can. He was on The Secret, wasn't he? We've had most of The Secret guys.
Yeah.
We had Gio Vitale recently. He was great, wasn't he? Yeah, he was great. I'm just going to get that sorted out. This show, as it evolves, we call it the Disruptive Entrepreneur at the moment, but it evolves. It's on all channels. What does the word disruptive mean to you?
Nonconformist. Disruptive is a great word for me, because I think we should all be disruptive. And that for me is about looking. Everyone's telling you to go that way, and that's where the crowd are going, go the other way. Look what's the other way. So disruptive really means going against the system. And if you want to perform, don't conform.
This is just gold. This is platinum. This is diamond. Love it. Right, Ollie, where can we find you and follow you? What books are the ones we should grab of yours first? What socials are you mainly on?
Yeah, I think really the main focus, or you can get me on, I should say, on my Instagram channel, Ollie.Ollerton. That's the main place to get me. The best book I would say to anyone, which is all about reprogramming yourself for positivity, is Battle Ready.
Great. let's get this out to the masses then. Ollie, thanks a lot.
Brilliant,
that was a lot of fun.
Mega enjoyed that. I'm so glad we did
Cheers.
that, because my little negative brain yesterday was going, oh, don't do it.
So I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you like this, we have a full, deep interview, the uncut, unedited version. So if you want to watch that, the link is below. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel.